What's poppin', homies? It's your favorite homegirl, Gossip Girl, and today I want to talk to you about the garage that collapsed in Manhattan today, and that's on the lower Manhattan side. All right. Wow. I was looking at some of the pictures, and I was looking at stuff on the news, and I'm like, what in the heck is going on? Let me tell you something. For that building to collapse like that, yeah, it was old. It was old. It was old. I'm telling you. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into it. Oh my goodness. It seems like everything goes on all at once. It's never a moment of relief from bad news. One person was killed and multiple others trapped after a garage collapsed in Lower Manhattan. Now, shocking footage from the scene at 3537 Ann Street shows multiple cars on top of the concave roof as a woman is heard screaming, "Get out." At this time, the building is completely unstable. And that's what Mayor Eric Adams said at a press conference. My goodness. One victim was carried away in a stretcher as dozens of SUVs slid into the gaping hole in the roof, which precipitated the collapse. 5 others were hurt. 4 were taken into the hospital, and 1 refused medical treatment. Now, the person that refused the medical treatment, I really hope that they go get medical attention soon, okay? Because they really need to get checked out. All of the injured have been working inside the building when it collapsed. Slabs of concrete plummeted through a lounge area for the garage employees. There was a worker who was trapped on the upper floor. He was conscious and alert and moving around, calling us. And that's what John Esposito, the fire chief of operations, said. He couldn't get down. We were able to put firefighters up there in the building to take him down across the roof of another building. Whew. Now, a Boston Dynamics robotic dog was used in the garage after it collapsed. So they're starting to use robotic dogs now. Okay. I know I saw something about it on the news, but yeah, I guess that's what's happening now. Officials believe all workers are accounted for, but are continuing to investigate. We're continuing to do searches. There are some cars in there that are crushed. We're trying to see if we can get, close to make sure there's nobody in those cars. The building had active violations dating back to 2003. NYC Department of Building Acting Commissioner Kaz Velinchak said there was also active permits on the building, one of which was related to electrical work, but the building was not under construction. So this building had violations dating all the way back to 2003. That building was old. And I'm pretty sure, it had some type of leakage in there. It had violations. The collapse affected the entire 4-story building, with some cars plummeting into the cellar. The building continued crumbling as the FDNY initiated its search, forcing firefighters to evacuate the building. The FDNY sent in drones to survey the garage as well as their Boston Dynamics robotic dog. Thank God we had the robotic dog that was able to go in the building. This is ideally what we talk about, not sending a human, but, being inside a building as unstable as this. So I guess because this dog is a robotic dog and it has a camera on there, they could send the dog in there and it can could basically see what's going on instead of sending a human, which I think it is smart, because just in case something happens, if something falls on the dog, it's a mechanical dog. They can fix it. But if it did it to a person, something heavy fell on a person's head, that person is either going to be in the hospital or dead. So by them sending in that robotic dog, it has a camera on it. It can see what's going on in there. And that's saving basically a human's life. Oh my gosh. Ooh. The New York City Sheriff's Office uses the deck to park their cars while working at the Manhattan office. We accounted for all personnel, Sheriff Anthony Miranda told the Post, adding his office had 4 cars parked there. A 22-year-old who works next door but declined to give their name said the collapse came out of nowhere. We heard a loud noise and we knew it wasn't safe, they said. We looked down from the window and saw a lot of smoke coming, so we figured something went down, but we obviously don't know what it was. Everyone just started rushing. There wasn't as big of a shake as an earthquake, I would say, but it almost felt like a lift or an elevator just went down and collapsed. Jeez. Pace University, located nearby the collapse, canceled all of its classes for the rest of the day. Student Jaden Speller, who was 19, said he heard what sounded like an explosion while he was, in class on the 14th floor of the nearby building. There was just this huge boom, and I was like, what the hell is that? We saw smoke rising, heard a man scream and a woman screaming. There was debris, and we saw cars piled up on top of each other. So this story is a breaking story, and it will keep getting an update as the time goes on. Oh, my goodness. There's, in Lower Manhattan, there's so many old buildings that probably has all types of violations that has not been worked on in over 20 years. They have to get on top of that, because if this building went down, can you imagine another building that goes down? There's so many old buildings, and some of those buildings were built in the 1800s. That's how many old buildings there. A lot of old buildings in Lower Manhattan. That's what started being built in 1800s. So, wow. That building was it just wasn't fit for all those cars, and it gave out. That's exactly what happened. It gave out because the building itself was old. It had so many violations. It needed to be fixed. The structure of it wasn't as stable, and it probably was a leak somewhere in there, to be honest. Okay. I don't know why they didn't start working on the building, but man. It's just, I'm like, wow, this is insane. This is really, really crazy. Now, a woman who lives next to the Financial District parking garage was home during the destruction, which left a gaping hole in one of her apartment walls. There were a lot of really big bangs first. Then part of the wall started coming down. Her name is Sandy Imhoff, whose second floor apartment shared a wall with the Ann Street garage. So her wall is gone. Bricks were coming through. The place was filling up with dirt. Part of my wall is gone. One worker was killed and 5 others were injured when the garage on Ann Street near Nassau Street caved in at 4:10 p.m., swallowing dozens of cars and sending slabs of concrete plummeting from its 4th floor into the cellar. She said, "I was just in shock. I was worried for the other people in the building." She fled outside, but said her 2 cats were still inside her apartment. Officials said the parking garage building had active violations dating back to 2003, but was not under construction. And that's a problem. You got all these violations dating back to 2003, and the building is not under construction. She said she heard what sounded like construction banging coming from the garage around 10 a.m., just 6 hours before the collapse. So if she heard that type of banging and that noise at 10 a.m., that means that building was breaking down. It was breaking down. And then it finally gave out. The beams were bending. That building was breaking down. And this happened 6 hours before the collapse. Wow. This is insane. And this is scary. You know, you in class or you in your office, and like Sandy Imhoff, she's in her home, and you know you're doing what you're doing, and then all of a sudden you hear this noise and all this smoke. Okay? That's a scary situation because you don't know what's going on. You don't know what's going on. But anyway, you guys, that's all I have for right now. Let me know if you heard anything down in the comment section. Let's talk about it, and I'll talk to you later. I'll send my condolences and prayers to the victims and to the victims that passed away as well. Like, this is really something. This is something. 1 died and 5 are injured. Whew. I send my prayers to all the victims. And I'll talk to you later.